friends, welcome back to the shop. I got my Go Juice here. It's a cold, brisk day again here in northern Utah, but it's sunny and nice as far as we're not having any snow. So we're going to have a good time today. We're going to go ahead and draw out our blade on our twisted Damascus billet here. It's taken a while to get us to this point, but I think we're going to have a good day today. So we're heating up our forge. We've got our anvil surface warming up, and the shop is getting kind of warm because I've started the forge and then had to go back up and get a cup of coffee. So now we're set. So let's get to it, shall we? So for anyone who may not have gotten a chance to see it yesterday in my earlier video, this is our billet that we'll be drawing out today. You can see the twisted pattern in there pretty well. And as we draw this knife out, flatten this out, this pattern will widen out, and it'll be, it's going to be very interesting to see how this comes out in a knife blade. And I haven't decided which way I want to draw it out, because being a twist, it almost doesn't matter now. But this side here was initially the layered side, and I can tell because of right up in here, you can see how the layers, this is where I would have grabbed it with the wrench, this is where it would have been in the vise, and you can see the layers still go straight right here, so you can tell that this here was the side where they were all sandwiched together, and this was the flat side here. So the billet is a little flatter, I think, on the flat side, maybe, because it's not perfectly square. It's a little bit wider this way than it is this way. So seeing how we already have a pretty good start on it, well, now I don't know. Now I'm looking at this, and it almost looks as though this side was the sandwiched side. Once we put that twist on it, it's just kind of hard to tell. Actually, I think this side was the sandwiched side, because if you look there, I don't know if you can see that, if that comes through in the video or not, but these lines start out pretty straight right here and then twist. So I believe this may have been our sandwich side. I don't know. I don't think it matters. I think I'm just going to draw it down from the fat side here, from the, where it's already the thinnest. We'll draw it down this way. Why go ahead and pound all this down? We'll just flatten it down from this side here, and make our knife that way. So yeah, can't wait to get on this and get a knife banged out of that thing and see what it's going to look like. So we've got our anvil warmed up, we've got our forge heated up, and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's get to it. Well, it's going to take a little pounding. I've had to open up the back of my forge again so I can get this clear through, because we can't get a full heat on it. So we're going to have to work back and forth. Getting a little bit of separation right there, but I think it's because of the fish lip thing that we got going on there. We'll see what happens with it. We're going to cut off some of that end and lose some of this end anyway. Well, we're getting her spread out pretty good. The guy you hear in the background is my buddy Scott. He stopped by. I probably wouldn't have been down in the shop, but the NASCAR race was delayed due to rain in Atlanta, so I thought let's get down there and work on our knife. See where we got just that little split right there in that very end? But that's because we're getting a big fish lip thing in here and it's just kind of separating, but like I say, we'll nip that off anyway. Our handle's going. It's just about broke off. So we've defined where our tang is going to start here. I'm going to go ahead and go get some welding wire because that's done for. It'll be about a half an hour for me. It'll be a blink of an eye for you. All right. Got our handle welded back on. So she's looking like a knife. We had to cut these fish lips off at the end of this thing, and I didn't realize the camera battery died again. So you missed a bunch of this. But we're just about ready to take this thing to the grinder. I just want to smooth it up, planish it a little more. She's still a little bit warm, but I think we pretty much got her annealed. We're going to go and zip this handle off. Had to cut off a little bit of the end here where we had a split forming. And then my battery died on my camera again. And like a dummy, I didn't go put the other one in the charger. So we're going to go ahead, cut this off, and kind of clean this up a little bit, do a little grinder work, and see where we are. Hey guys, well, we due to my not paying attention and my battery died, and I ran into a couple of little problems on this, and I was very concerned, and so I kind of didn't think about, you know, changing batteries, or I wasn't paying attention. I wanted to fix the problems on this knife, but we annealed it, got our initial knife hammered out. We annealed it, and then I took it to the grinder and profiled it a little bit here. We're not done yet. It's just a rough profile, and I got the one side of this blade cleaned up real well so you could see it. But here's our rough profile on our knife, and I just took this down to about a 150 grit on the sandpaper, and trying to get this where you can see it well enough. But there's our twisted Damascus pattern in our blade. I just kind of cleaned up this one side because we still got a lot of grinder work to do in that, but that pattern came out pretty strong, I think. I think it looks pretty good. So it's a successful twisted Damascus pattern on this blade. So I think it's going to look really nice when it's all finished up, and scales put on it and all of that. I think we're going to try to put an aluminum bolster right up here where the plunge line goes. Just do something a little different, you know. But I think it came out real nice. That tiger stripe looking Damascus we have there, of course that's from the twist, you know. If we hadn't have twisted it, we would have just had layers of Damascus laying this way. And then they wouldn't have really shown up until you grind the bevels in and taper that steel, and then the different layers would have showed up. But with twisting it like we did, that gets our layers to show up real nice, and all them twists, and you know, it was 12 layer billet of 1080 and 15N20 steel, and so I think it's looking good. Feels good in my hand. My buddy Scott that I mentioned earlier came over today. He really liked the knife. he's been bugging me to make him a knife. So I think we're going to let him have this one. You know. So yeah, I think it came out pretty good. We're going to call it good for today. We'll call this here what? This will be like part 2, I guess, right? Because part 1 was yesterday when we were twisting our billet and all that, right? So part 2 of our Damascus knife build. I think it looks really cool. I can't wait to see it all finished and done and complete and polished up and, you know, everything. Like I say on that blade, I just did a rough. I took it on the grinder and we took the rough scale off of it and stuff with a 40 grit belt. Then we moved up to 120 grit belt and cleaned it up a little better. Then I took some 150 grit sandpaper and cleaned it up a little better. Then I threw it in the etch real quick, and then I took it out of the etch and we went at it with just and put a fine little polish on it with some 500 grit. So it'll look a lot better when we get done with it. We'll probably go up to 1200 grit, so it'll really pop. But I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and join me for the next one. Keep an eye out on you. If you're subscribed, you'll get a notification that says, hey, video number 3 was posted. So thanks for being here, guys. Have a great one. We'll see you on the next one.